3 million Brits unemployed as VHS battles with Betamax. We hang out with no money in arcades while Thatcher sends troops to the Falklands. Thursday night meant top of the pops in the year that would change gaming forever. Yes, the home computer boom of 1982. Oh, hello! It is me. It is Jace at Retrogames. Hello! Happy Friday to you all. Here we are for more Retrogames chat.
BBC Two begins a new series now that explores the world of information science in the computer programme.
And looking at stuff, that's what we do on a Friday. We look at old retro game stuff and try to wonder why life isn't as good as it used to be. Am I right? Things seem more exciting back then. And today's episode, I'm going back to a thing that I did a few months ago, where I looked at particular years in the history of video gaming, and particularly in the UK. Now, the year I'm going going back. It's a very special year. I'm going to go back to 1982. Wow, it's such a key year of my life and a key year for the history of video games in the UK. I mean, it is ridiculously important. We started at the beginning of the year with the Acorn Atom and the Sinclair ZX81. By the end of 1982, we had the Spectrum, and we were on our way to becoming the gaming nation that we are today. So yeah, such a vital year. And how old was I? I was only...
You were only 11, Jace.
I was 11 years old in 1982, and that was formative years, wasn't it? I was into computers in 1982. I'd had consoles, I'd had TV games. I had a ZX81 in 1982. That's the year that I got it. We got them, it came into school, I played it at school, and then I begged and I saved and I got one. And then, my journey into computers began. Now, I'm going to do this episode with the help of this magazine. This is Your Computer. And this is the January 1982. Now, this is such a big year. I thought I might break this down into 3 parts. So we'll do it today. We will do the first one, which is January 1982. And then let's zoom forward to June, halfway through the year, and do another one. And then at the end of the year, December, and just see how much the landscape of video gaming in the UK had changed during 1982, because it was such an important year. It is the most important year, probably. Now, I'm just going to show you, this is the magazine. Do you remember him? It's our old mate, Chris Searle.
All it really means is the world of computers. But why have they suddenly become so important, and what should we, as non-computer experts, know about them? Well, that's exactly what I shall be finding out during this series. One thing I know already, don't expect the computer revolution to happen tomorrow. It's happening now.
Sadly no longer with us, passed away last year, but such a voice of computing back in the day.
And in fact, there are over 100 different makes of small computer now on sale in Britain. You can't have failed to notice the ads in the papers for them. Look at this one. Familiar faces make them seem the answer to the businessman's problems.
Legend, am I right? I mean, he's wearing a Space Invaders jumper on the front of that. Wow, what a legend. I remember him from TV, and his old mate Ian McNaught Davis, which, gamers hated him.
I really hate to see computers just used for playing games. To my mind, it's kind of degrading when they could be used for much more serious purposes. We watched Micro Live and all those computer programs back in the day when we was at school, but they were so anti-games on those shows that we didn't really care for them.
I bet there's hardly a pub in the country which doesn't have a couple of computers in the lounge bar. Well, like it or not, they're with us for good.
And you can really appreciate how it felt back in 1982 when I was 11 to be on that cusp of a computing revolution, when games really were in their super infancy. They really were. Parents dismissed video games as useless. You can have a computer to do your homework, you can't use it for Space Invaders. Every company in this magazine seems to make a version of Space Invaders. Not always Pac-Man, but generally always Space Invaders. So yeah, let's get going. Let's explore your computer, January 1982, only 60p.
What's on the table?
Now, even the first page is exciting. Look at that. Low electronics. That is the British computer, the Genie. Not to be mixed up with the colour Genie, which came later. This is the proper rival to the ZX81. What a beast, though. The ingenious Genie. I don't think we've ever had a Genie 1 in stock. And that's kind of sad. It's built in tape deck. You know, they're trying to sell that TV as a monitor. Looks like a TV to me. The Genie, compatible with TRS-80. Yeah, they borrowed compatibility. A lot of these formats did. Dragon as well. You could play TRS-80 games on a Dragon and vice versa. So yeah, they're all kind of related. A lot of these British computers. Do you remember the Grundig Interton? That machine. There was loads of consoles that used exactly the same chips, exactly the same hardware. This is Interton Invaders, also from 1982, but you'll find exactly the same game on the Acetronic, Princetronic, Telecolor Stars. You're thinking, well, are you going to show any Genie games? Maybe. 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 Okay. Now, as you can see, I've put post-it notes at all the pages that I thought really were worth looking at. I hope you agree. And the first page I thought was exciting was this, and not because they're trying to sell pocket computers, but this advert is for the original Automata. You know Automata from Pie-Man and all that. This game is called Can of Worms, and it's a game I've got a big connection to. Very crazy, loads of weird mini games, 1K mini games for the ZX81 on there. Let me show you a bit of Can of Worms by Automata. Now, these are 1K adult games. Yes, I know. And this one is called Acne. Try and pop the zits on the guy's forehead. This slightly pathetic attempt at a game is called Vasectomy. And that line with an 8 afterwards, I think that's a gentleman's appendage. Press snip at the right time to perform the operation. This game has you unblocking the sewer at Buckingham Palace. This is supposed to be Hitler. In a wheelchair, I don't know why. And this game is called Smut, a 4-word random generator. I know what you're thinking, what a load of rubbish. But Can of Worms holds the record as the most valuable cassette game we've ever sold. A Dutch art gallery picked it up for £1,000. Now, this is the letters page. You don't get letters pages anymore, do you? With the demise of magazines, we've lost all those letters, and I always used to like reading the letters. The letters used to be the best bit in Crash and Zap. Oh, read the letters, people's opinions on things. It was brilliant. And just 2 letters struck my attention this time. The first one is this one, Loading Trouble. In your October edition, D. Somerville has a query regarding the use of a cassette player with a ZX81. I experienced similar problems. See, we're getting to the nub. This is what the problems of life were like in 1982. I experienced similar problems on a borrowed computer. Oh, lending your ZX81 out. I tested the interconnecting leads supplied by Sinclair. I found that the yellow marked sleeves fitted at each end were not on the same lead. Now, I don't know, early ZX81s did come with quite a long socket for the ear in the cassette cable. You know, on the Spectrum, you've got the grey and black moulded ends, but the ZX81 originally had proper screw-in sockets. So he's saying that the Sinclair cable he got sent had corresponding matching yellow marks on one on the ear and one on the mic, and so he got mixed up, and so he had to swap them. I don't know. Is that an interesting letter? I think it was. Remember, no internet, no way to get, no Reddit. You can't get this stuff off your chest. You can't ask anyone for help. You're writing letters and hoping that your letter gets in 1 month later in the magazine and someone gives you a reply. Nobody replies. There's no replies. Even the editor doesn't reply and say, oh, well done. Or so you're talking to yourself, really.
Just like you are now, Jace.
There's another letter here that I thought was interesting. Courteous Clive. After the modifications suggested by P.R. Ainsworth.
Oh, I used to go out with him.
If anyone is suffering from eye twitch as a result of the hours spent staring into a black and white TV, he might care to try placing a small sheet of smoky, transparent perspex in front of it. Yes, a proper solution. Where do you get a piece of smoky perspex though?
Did somebody say smoking perverts?
Now, do you remember DK-tronics? We're never sure what the DK stood for, but it sounds a bit like dick. I've always thought that, Dicktronics. And there we have, this is advertising this, the ZX81 proper keyboard. What an amazing, it looks like a spare part. It looks like you've prized that out of a typewriter. It just looks awful. Now let's just read this description from DK-tronics. One of the biggest problems with the Sinclair computer is that the keyboard is rather a finger ache. Is it? This has now been solved with the aid of a full-size keyboard which is suitable for the ZX80 and ZX81. This is not a revamp of a commercially available keyboard. It has been designed for Sinclair. This makes it unique. Oh yeah, turn your ZX81 into a hobbyist's dream. I think this micros come to Croydon. Isn't this a sort of, this looks like some of the events that go on now for retro gaming, isn't it? A little bit. Everyone crowding around desks covered in computers. I've seen other people's videos of those sort of things.
An apple, an acorn, a tangerine, even a new brain. In fact, computers suddenly seem to be everywhere.
Now we have a full page advert. Yes, 1982, our first full page games advert. I say games because there's also some utility stuff on there as well, but let's stick with the games. And who's it from? It is our old favourites, Bug Byte. Yes, there they were right at the beginning. Bug Byte producing software like ZX81 tiles, Star Trek, Adventure, Invaders.
Let's start out with Star Trek, totally unofficial. I think that black square is what we can see out of the windows. Spock, human logic fascinates me. Chekhov, phaser energy. Chekhov, we got him, sir. It feels like I'm in a movie. Now the ZX81 may not have any proper graphics, no sound, no colour, but that doesn't mean it's slow. This is a pretty nippy shooter, isn't it?
And we even get screenshots for the Atom versions. There's Invaders, Chess, and Fruit Machine with nudge feature.
Before the mighty BBC Micro arrived in British classrooms, Acorn quietly prepared us with the Acorn Atom, a 1980 compact computer based on their 1970s modular rack-mounted System 3, usually found in industry and laboratories. The Atom was designed and built by a tiny team, including Sophie Wilson and Steve Ferber, the same duo who would later invent the ARM architecture, which powers half the planet's phones. Despite only having 2K of RAM, the Atom was ahead of its time. The same MOS 6502 CPU can be found in many later formats, including the Atari 800, BBC Micro, and even the Nintendo NES. Most Atoms were sold as £120 DIY kits, and instead of being the stopgap machine Acorn intended, hobbyists enjoyed tinkering with the Atom for years. The machine's homebrew scene still thrives. You can even play Jet Set Willy on the Atom. In the world of computing, the Acorn Atom is a true unsung hero, a quirky British computer that accidentally paved the way for the BBC Micro and eventually the smartphone in your pocket.
And here is another early advert from a company Spectrum owners will have heard of, A&F. A&F, come on, Chucky Egg, isn't it? They made Chucky Egg. They made loads of rubbish games, but they also made Chucky Egg, which was good. Yes, Atom users, they were making games for the Acorn Atom. And the games include Polecat, yeah, Polecat, and the incredible Tangled. Great news, we can check both of those out.
So here we are with Polecat, a very strange maze game where you control the letter R. For some reason, A&F charged £1 more for this Atom game than the others. This is premium. Tangled is actually better, a very, very simple version of Snake. The equivalent cost of these games in today's money is around £22. Can you imagine saving up your pennies for your video game fix? And this is what you ended up with. It has become hard to relate to that, hasn't it?
In the centre of the magazine, we have a big glossy brochure for the ZX81. 16 bytes RAM pack for massive add-on memory. Not that massive now, but massive then. You could buy it in kit form or built for 20 quid more. So that's how much it costs to build a ZX81, 20 quid, I guess. That's the labour. That's the labour charge, like going to the garage, isn't it?
And in here, they publish all manner of different sorts of programs, and they list them out for you.
And what do? You type all that into the computer?
You type it all in without one mistake, and one mistake will ensure that it will never work.
Right, well, that's pretty laborious business, isn't it?
Now, as a YouTuber, I always struggle to find the right taglines to get people to watch my thumbnails. But what about that one? Outstandingly useful! ZX81 companion book, thank you. Get excited, this is another full page ad. What is that? And what is, this looks like a flaccid one, doesn't it? They do look, that's meant to be a monster with a couple of big willies for eyes. What? I don't quite understand that monster. But anyway, this is a software house called the Essential Software Company. No, I don't know them either. But they really did double down on the Acorn Atom. That's the thing. I didn't have any money. I was an 11-year-old kid. The Acorn Atom was obviously the computer of choice at this time. At the very end, 81 into 82, Acorn Atom was the king of computers. We've got Galaxy Invasion, Cosmic Fighter, Robot Attack, and you can see on this Attack Force the game is available for TRS-80 and Video Genie. Yes. Let's check out some of these games.
Let's start with the TRS-80 version of Supernova from 1980, a very early version of Asteroids, and it's not terrible, is it? It's pretty good, it's moving around well. But here we have Attack Force on the Video Genie. Wow, again, 1980. The graphics might be a bit blocky, but it's loud and, even more importantly, it is playable. Action Force is a pretty decent maze shooter. And playing this back to back after some ZX81 stuff, doesn't the sound make such a huge difference to the playability? Talking of sound, you heard that right, it is speech on a 1980 computer. If I heard a computer talk in 1982, it was magical. Gamers from later eras just won't understand. We'd all seen war games, we all wanted our computers to talk. We would literally load up crap games just to hear them talk. This is a pretty decent version of Berserk though.
Gobble man, this is what they say about the game in the magazine. Watch out behind you as you hurry through the maze collecting your energy modules. But don't let the gobble men catch you. If you're crafty, sneak up behind them and neutralise them to gain extra points. Just keep a watch. When they attack you, they come in fast. Just don't lose your nerve. What? There's another exciting box out here. 3D Adventures. 3 games in total. Death Maze, Labyrinth and Asylum.
Well, Asylum is actually a bit of a blocky text adventure. Not really 3D, as everything is done on static screens. But Death Maze really is a first-person 3D maze game. But rather than being chased by dinosaurs like on the ZX81, this game has adventure elements letting you pick up things and open doors.
Now, it's probably only me who remembers Oasis software. Did they actually produce White Lightning for Ocean? It rings a bell. Yeah, but they released stuff for the Spectrum and for the Commodore, I think. Anyway, look at this for the ZX81 and the Commodore PET. Wow, Rubik Cube Solver. Rubik Cube Solver. Can you imagine?
Rubik's Cube. Over 3 billion combinations, but just one solution from Ideal.
I mean, Rubik's Cube, obviously we're at that time when Rubik's Cube was absolutely massive. The thought of using your computer to solve the Rubik's Cube, that's worth checking out, isn't it?
Now I've seen it, I don't think it was worth checking out, was it?
What about this, Apple fans? Yeah, big advert for the Apple II, the Euro Plus 48K edition, and it's on a special offer there. It's £675 plus VAT. That's £776 compared to that £60 ZX81. Quite a different proposition, I think you'll find. Macronics. Does anybody remember those? They did release a few different things back in the day. Look at this, it's a picture maker, and I think that is meant to be Prince Charles and Lady Di, isn't it? In that little tiny picture, I think so. A couple of games made out. This for the ZX81 and ZX80. You won't find anything in stock for the ZX80 on the site at the moment, I don't think. You got your 1K Space Intruders or the super version in 3K.
Now you will probably think I am weird, but I'm kind of glad the ZX81 doesn't have any proper graphics. On what other format can you shoot asterisks from a letter H and try to avoid the dollar signs? And it's not a bad game to play. It's got an all-time best score. The aliens might be fuzzy blocks, but you've still got your shields to hide behind. There are definitely worse Invaders games.
There's a couple of other games here from Macronics. Nightmare Park. It says that's 9K. But they don't make a 9K RAM pack, so they just used up some of the 16K. The Park of Death. Can you get through this nightmare? No human has yet succeeded.
I am just waiting to find out if one of these poison darts is going to hit me. This so-called Nightmare Park is full of simple challenges like this. Make your way through the park to the finish block by choosing a direction. Each move gives you a challenge like this. Virtually no skill is required at all. Everything seems random. Do I want to rethrow? Okay, let's rethrow. I have thrown a 6. Is that good enough to proceed? Yes, this is just as laborious as it seems. Okay, move along. Let's carry on. Back to the map. I will press east. Oh, not the same thing again. It's hard to believe that this game was later picked up for reissue by PSS.
And one more Macronics title there. It is called Dragon Maze. Are you cunning enough to evade the dragon? You are impeded by darkness. The walls are only displayed when you make a bad move. Sounds feeble. Micro game simulations. Remember, this is what we had. This is what computer gaming was like. I guess we still had, in Television and ColecoVision and Atari. And in comparison, those games look mega, don't they? They do. They do. I'll give you that. Consoles were definitely winning at the beginning of 1982. But we all know the tide is about to turn. Now let's just have a look. Micro game simulations. They've got a few weird titles there. What about Kingdom of Nam? As ruler of Nam, you must control its economy. This sounds boring.
Now, I am a fan of the ZX81 and I do like management strategy games, but I'm well aware they're not great fun on YouTube.
And here's another classic 8-bit company, Silversoft. Yes, they started early too. Star Trek, unofficial of course, and now Super Wumpus. Super Wumpus. Now, Super Wumpus has got so many features. I can barely even tell you about them. They're just too exciting. It's too exciting. Super Wumpus has changing caves, super bats, earthquakes, pits, magic arrows, traps, and etc.
Here it is then, Super Wumpus. This is already making me think of Nightmare Park. You are in room number 5. Yes, it's another one of these games. My feet are wet. It's brighter this way. I see the point. I guess those are cryptic clues. We can audit, we can drop, we can escape, feed, gather, move, shoot, rest, quit, do something, move. Where should we go? Right. Okay, let's see what happens. In your own time. Splash! You have fallen in a pool, you dropped 1 arrows, you dropped 9 kilograms of food. That's a lot of food.
Quotation marks, and the name of the game is Wall. It's the old Wall game.
Right.
Now, we must switch on the cassette.
Yes.
And then hit return. And that puts the control back to the computer. And now it's beginning to search.
Right.
And here is a very, very early advert for Quicksilver. One of my favourite companies from back in the day. What are you thinking? Ant Attack, Fred, loads of great stuff came out on the Quicksilver label. They started with the ZX81. I would say Quicksilver were one of the most dominant companies of the ZX81 era. They were real early birds. Here they're advertising 2 Cold Stone classics, Quicksilver Defender and Quicksilver Asteroids. I love this line in this ad. Both programs feature on-screen scoring. Right. Well, what else were you going to do? Send it through the post and have software to drive QS soundboard, because Quicksilver made like expansion boards for ZX80 and ZX81. They were there at the beginning making bits and bobs to improve these computers too. Both these games, QS Defender and Asteroids, are recorded twice on high quality cassettes and have full colour cassette inserts of original paintings by Steiner Lund. And I've wanted to talk about Steiner Lund for ages.
I don't care who you are, you will know the work of Steiner Lund. Probably the most iconic game artist of all time. Yes, he did the Llamasoft covers. There is such an emotional attachment for me and for other like-minded souls to game box art. When one artist has done literally hundreds of classic covers, his work is embedded in your soul. Yes, big words. So he did loads of art for those early Quicksilver covers that I used to pine after in WH Smith's. Melbourne House, Mirrorsoft, Dumark. His style seems to change effortlessly between projects. Come on, you've already seen games you love here, haven't you? It could be argued he made Sega boxes better than Sega did. Now there are literally hundreds of games he worked on. Let's go for some of the big titles to finish. What about this one? Mega Apocalypse Classic Stunt Car Racer. Oh yes. But what about this? The Last Ninja Eyes, one of the most iconic images in the history of video games. Thank you, Steiner. The Retrogames community salutes you.
I didn't expect him to get referenced on an original 1982 advert.
Now, presumably, as you said, this is a fairly slow and laborious way of doing it, and we could speed things up by using one of the floppy disks.
Yes! Now, we are nearly at the end of the magazine. One more advert here I like. ZX81 Games. This is JK Gray software, related, linked to New Generation they would become. But I love that this is how they're advertising themselves in these small ads. This is at the back of the magazine. ZX81 Games, fed up with being ripped off? Have you bought boring, expensive or rubbish games? Who hasn't? Don't despair, try these! And of course, JK Gray actually did have some amazing games, because they made 3D Monster Maze, probably one of the greatest ZX81 games ever produced, and you know, a forerunner of Doom, let's just say. Yeah, I reckon. Last thing to show you about this mag is on the last page. This is Byte Shop Computerland. Isn't that a little section of time travel there? Look at this family looking in the, they're not a family, I think they're two separate couples looking in the window, but I love the guy's heels. That suit is very of the time. And what they're looking in the window at VIC-20s, they love the VIC-20. They're just gawping at it. Yes, people dreamed of owning these old machines.
As a beginner, press any key to serve. Right. Nice multicoloured game, that. I see. Yes, right. I think I get the picture.
I hope you're better at tennis than you are at this.
It's so simple to play. Okay, well, obviously it's not just for playing games. They're terrific fun, but there must be more to it than that.
What an amazing magazine. I do recommend Your Computer. It's like a historical archive, kind of like a public record of what happened during the early years of computing. And I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to come back with the June issue, and we'll see how things moved on in 6 months. And I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised how quickly things moved on in that time period. Everything was going at 100 million miles an hour. It was crazy. But anyway, thank you for watching. This is going to be my last show until the Christmas special. Sorry. Sorry. I need some time to work some stuff out for that. I always have a little bit of a break in December. But thank you to all our new subscribers and everyone who's recently joined us.
I just don't understand it. They must be mad.
Haha, no, but honestly, this sudden boost of interest in the channel has fired me up, and that's why maybe the last 6, 7, 8 videos have been better than the usual ones, haven't they? The quality's gone up, hasn't it? I'm putting more effort in, and long may it continue into the new year. But I will be back Christmas Eve. I have no idea what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to make a show for Christmas Eve, and I hope to see you all then. Until then, happy retrogaming, retrogamers!
Retrogames says thank you for watching. Retrogames says thank you for watching.
For many, I am seen as the founding father of British home computers, not a title I give to myself, one bestowed on me by others, and yet when you finally cover this pioneering era, finally one where it is entirely appropriate for me to appear in your show, you choose not to include me at all. Feckless half-wit.